Hi guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are unhauling some books. Earlier this summer, I put up a video of all of the books on my TBR, all of my unread books, and in that video I was like, as a part 2, I'll do an unhaul. This is that video, just like 3 months later. This was my first sweep. I have a hard time with unhauling books. I love it. I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it. But the decision-making process of which ones I want to unhaul is very difficult. I'm a super indecisive person. And it's not like it's the end of the world if I get rid of books. Like, I could go to the library. I could get another copy if I really needed to. But I feel bad when I've spent money on things just getting rid of them, you know? And so I kind of agonized over which ones I wanted to get rid of. And funnily enough, that first video was all about the books that I hadn't read. The majority of these books I have read, and I'm getting rid of them because I felt bad getting rid of books that I hadn't read yet. I want to give them a chance before I get rid of them. So with that said, if any of these books look like something you might actually enjoy, I'll have them listed on my Depop shop. Feel free to message me on there if you want to get more than one book, because I'll give you a discount on the books and on the shipping, or if you want to like negotiate a different price, because I tend to just list them all as the same price on that app because I don't know how to price them. So if you're like, hey, would you take this instead? I'll probably just say yes, because at this point I just want to get rid of them. But I don't want to take them to the secondhand store around here because they'll give me like 2 cents for them, and it's a perfect condition hardcover, and I'm not about that life. So anyway, let's get straight into the books that I'm unhauling. This gigantic pile right here. The first book that I'm getting rid of, I'm actually really happy at the idea of passing it on to someone else, because I've seen people say this is their like favorite book, and I think it's really well done. It just was not a good fit for me, so this is definitely something I want to give to someone who will like it more than I did. And that's The Apocalypse of Elena Mendoza. I think I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I could tell why other people love this book. It just was not a good fit for me. And this also came in a page habit box. So it has like the annotations from the author on sticky notes if you're into that kind of thing. I think that's kind of cool. I didn't love this, so I don't really feel a need to keep it. The next book I'm getting rid of is Half Bad by Sally Green. This is the first book in a series. You may or may not have heard of this series depending on how long you've been on BookTube. This series was super popular when I joined like 3 years ago, but I haven't really heard anything about it since. Again, I think I give this a 3 out of 5 stars. It just was not my cup of tea, and I didn't end up continuing on with the series, so I don't really feel a need to hang on to it. A lot of these books I've had for years and years and years, because when I first started my channel and when I first got into reading, I felt the need to own every book that I read because I wanted to fill my bookshelves. That was a time when I didn't have enough books for my bookshelves, and now I've got piles everywhere because I don't have any room left. So basically, I just don't feel a need to own all of these books anymore. I'm trying to downsize, and I'm trying to use my library more. The reason why I have so many books is because I bought so many when I was younger. So a lot of these are older. Anyway, the next book I'm getting rid of is Love Letters to the Dead. This is one that I haven't read, and I just don't think I'm ever gonna get to it, honestly. Next, I have Bonfire by Krysten Ritter. I have read this one. I just don't really feel a need to hang on to it. I feel like I'm saying the same thing about all of these. The next is Taking the Arrow Out of the Heart by Alice Walker. This is a collection of poems. And I have the first book in the Splintered series by A.G. Howard. I think I have, no. I used to have the second and the third book too. I think I already sold those off somewhere. For whatever reason, I still have the first book. I only ever read the first book, which is why I got rid of the rest of the series. This is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and the problem I had with this one was I think I just read this too late in my life. It just read very young for me. So if you're younger, or if you like books that feel kind of younger, you might enjoy this one more than I did. I just found it to be really immature. Next, I'm getting rid of Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, which is kind of surprising because Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert is one of my all-time favorite books. But I've tried to read this book on numerous occasions, and I can't get through it. I'm bored by it. This was my roommate in college's favorite book of all time, so this is a hit or miss with people from what I've gathered. Next, I'm getting rid of The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. I picked this up forever ago, and I'm just being real with myself. I'm never gonna get to it. Next, I have Serafina by Rachel Hartman. I know this is a really well-loved fantasy book. I think it might be the first book in a series. This is something I picked up, I want to say at least 5 years ago. I've just never read it, and my interest in it is completely gone. I just don't really read fantasy as much as I used to, and when I do, I don't love it as much as I used to. So I think my window of opportunity for when I would have liked this book has passed. Sorry, I keep like messing with my shirt. I didn't realize that it was gonna like look super low on camera, and I'm trying not to flash you guys. Next, I have Before She Ignites by Jody Meadows. I think this is the exclusive cover from Alcrate, maybe? I don't know. I have 2 copies of the book is the point. I've got another copy over there, and they don't have the same cover. So one of them has a special cover. So obviously I'm unhauling this because I have 2 copies of the book. Next, I have Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. I went back and forth with myself on this one whether I was going to get rid of it because I heard really good things about this, but there's a long story as to how I acquired this book. It was a mistake, and this is personally just not a genre that I like to read, so I don't want to keep it, but I'm sure it's great and someone else will enjoy it. Next, I'm getting rid of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. If you saw my worst books of the year video, you may know that I have grown to kind of hate this author. I didn't really like this book that much when I read it in the first place, and then I picked up a second book, and that really solidified my opinion that I don't like his books. But some people really love them, so this will definitely be in better hands with someone else. Next, I'm getting rid of The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. Actually, now that I'm holding this up, I might want to get rid of the first book in the series too if I can find it. This is a fantastic series. I gave the first book a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a fantasy series. This is the second book, and it's 1,000 pages long, and I'm getting rid of it for a lot of reasons. One, I'm never gonna get to it. I know it. Two, I liked the first book, but honestly, it was a struggle for me to get through, and I didn't like it enough to want to continue on with the series. It's one of those really slow-moving, overly descriptive fantasy series, and that's just not my thing. I like my books fast-paced and minimal description, so this series was just not really my thing, but I could appreciate how good it was from a craft perspective. And the only reason why I was reading the series was because it was my ex-boyfriend's favorite, and he gave me this book and the other one. So whenever I look at it, it just makes me think of him, and I just don't really want it. The next book I'm getting rid of is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This was super popular when it came out too. I also haven't heard about this in a long time. I thought this was overhyped personally. Everyone seemed to love it when it came out, and I just didn't really get the appeal. It has a very unique writing style, and everyone was like, oh my god, that twist at the end. And I was just like, what? So maybe whoever gets this next will appreciate it more than I did, because I was quite underwhelmed. Next, I'm getting rid of Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. I've enjoyed some of Colleen Hoover's books in the past, but this one, for whatever reason, I couldn't even get through. I tried several times. I think I made it halfway through the book, and it wasn't my thing. Next, I'm getting rid of Three Sides of a Heart. This is a collection of stories about love triangles. It has a very pretty cover, and it has a lot of really well-known authors in here. We have Saba Tahir, Veronica Roth, Ray Carson, Renee Ahdieh, lots of well-known people, and I'm sure it's fantastic. I just don't ever see myself picking it up. Honestly, I'm just not a fan of short stories. I've been forced to write them, I've been forced to read them all throughout my education, and no matter how many people make me read or how many I was forced to write, I never liked it. You cannot force me to like short stories. It's just not my medium of choice. So I'm just never gonna read this. Next, I'm getting rid of The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This is the first book in a young adult fantasy series, which is like a favorite series of a lot of people. But personally, I wasn't a fan of this first book. I know I'm not going to continue on with it, so I might as well pass it along to someone who might like this series more than I did. And then I'm also getting rid of, oh my gosh, if you guys have been around since I started my channel, you may know my feelings about this series. Miss Mayhem and Lady Renegades by Rachel Hawkins. This is the second and the third book in the Rebel Belle series. Who remembers Rebel Belle? Come on, you guys. I'm still keeping Rebel Belle. It's over there. I really liked the first book in the series. The second and the third book severely pissed me off, so I don't even want them on my shelf anymore. But they are really pretty. We're gonna pass these along. Then we have Ruby Red by Krysten Garrett. This is another first book in a YA series. This is about like time travel, and again, I thought this was so overhyped. I was severely underwhelmed. I never continued on with the series. I'm never going to. So hopefully someone will like this more than I did. And then the last book that I'm unhauling for this wave of unhauls. I might go through my books a second time and pick some more out. But for now, we're getting rid of The Wicked Will Rise by Danielle Page. I talked about this a lot last summer when I was reading this series, and I freaking hate this book. The first one was okay. I'm keeping the first book in the series. It was decent. The second book, I had so many people comment on those videos like, I loved that book, like what are you talking about? I was like, okay. I had a hard time getting through, again, the immaturity of this book and this character. So maybe that's just a me thing, but I couldn't take it. So yeah, those are all of the books that I'm going to be unhauling today. That actually didn't take as long as I thought it would, so that was good. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them. I would love to hear your thoughts, or let me know just like what your general opinion is on unhauling, because I know some people swear by it and some people are like, I like the idea of it, but I can't get rid of my books. So I would like to know how you guys feel about the whole concept of unhauling. Personally, I find it very refreshing, very liberating. It's just very nice to declutter my life. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new here, I put up at least 2 new videos every single week, so I would love it if you would subscribe and stick around. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, all of those links are down below in the description. And my book is on sale this month if you want to pick up a copy. Those links are down below in the description too. I'm pointing at the book if you're wondering why my hand's right here. That's the pile right there. So yeah, I'll just see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Bye.
So hit me. So hit me. So hit me. First a confession. With you, I feel a connection. With